It's been a couple of weeks now since the first level of restrictions has now been lifted after having 3 lockdowns. How are you feeling right now? Are you feeling more at ease? Or perhaps are you feeling more overwhelmed, anxious and stressed about it? Now, this week's weekly insight on mental health and well-being is about how our feelings and behaviours have changed, where we formed new habits, and how we are coping right now as the first step opens up to the lockdown. Now, this video is about 15 minutes, but I really wanted to delve deep into the importance of this topic to address the feelings and thoughts that we're having right now during the pandemic COVID lockdown as we're easing out of it. Now, talking to many people, it is still evident that there still remains a fair bit of concern and anxiousness, a fair bit of, well, I don't care. And on the other part, it's about bloody time. Excuse my French. Or they could be, they're thinking that I'm still not ready to be out and about again. The fear of social anxiety is beginning to creep in for many. In a bit, I'll be sharing the possibility of what social burnout is with some tips that you can use to help you avoid that social burnout. What I want to get across here is about managing yourself in the midst of the flock of people's madness. Now, I went down, so I'm going to tell you a little story. I went down into town recently to get some milk from M&S, and boy, I couldn't get home quick enough. I felt a sudden overwhelm of stress running through me. It was like lockdown and COVID had never happened. There were just people everywhere. The number of people that had no desire to wear masks, keep their social distance, and walk on the signposted side was incredible. Now, I found myself thankful that I had the tools in my back pocket to keep my nerves at bay. As I always talk about, my own little toolbox in my back pocket. The number one tool was breathing, then visualizing something beautiful that distracted me from the chaos and in consideration of the people that just were barging through me. The thing is that I have always had a thing about personal space and to respect other people's personal space. It's not that hard, to be honest. But I had to look into my own self-awareness and what I was feeling and thinking, of what I had control over and what I could let go of, letting go of the things that I could not control. After all, I can only control my own thoughts, feelings, and actions. So, in the meantime, if you find this video of value and you know that it will benefit others as well, please do like, comment, share and subscribe to keep up to date with my current videos. So, regarding this topic, where do you sit on the fence? I think no matter where we sit on the fence, it's important to remember to not be complacent and to remember to be considerate about others around us as we ease slowly back into some sense of normality, whatever normality means for you. After all, we definitely do not want a 4.0 lockdown, even with the COVID jabs, because we still don't know for sure how effective this will be. And also, there are people who may decide not to have the jabs. Even having had the jabs, there is the possibility to carry the virus and pass it on. But that is another story. Now, already there is a sense of post-lockdown social burnout. So what do I mean by this, the social burnout? Well, it is simply the sudden madness and temptation to just simply spend every waking moment seeing as many people as you can, as it's only natural because we've obviously been locked up for so long. We're trying to get out of these cages. What you need to bear in mind in social burnout is, yes, this is something real and it can impact you negatively. So pace yourself and be smart about it in how you use your time to get back into the swing of socialising. Take care of your mind and your body ease back into it, as without a doubt, your thoughts and habits have changed, and without realizing, they can have an effect on yourself subconsciously. Now, many of us have been longing to have that pleasure of being able to see friends and family after a year of distant waving through the windows and zooming through computers. So, with the rush to see everyone as soon as possible, social burnout is a real possibility. Burnout is a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion, caused by prolonged stress. You'll feel overwhelmed, drained mentally, emotionally, and physically, and unable to meet constant demands. Now, when it comes to socialising, this can be the result of trying to do far too much at once and not listening to how you are feeling. That thing about saying yes, 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 yes to everything can be really dangerous to your well-being. Forgetting to take time for yourself, poor sleeping habits, or even overindulging in food, drinks, etc. And therefore, this result will be that shifting in starting for you to feel overwhelmed and seeing socialising as a stressful situation rather than an enjoyable event or something that used to be enjoyable for you. So what can you do to prevent social burnout? Here's how you can pace yourself. Number 1, take your time. What the entire world is experiencing right now is unprecedented. We know that. So feeling overwhelmed by the expectations of lockdown lifting is entirely normal and natural. Indeed, the thought of having to deal with what were everyday activities such as getting on public transport, going to the gym, eating out again, may bring you out into these cold sweats. So socialising plays a huge role in our lives, and this adjustment to the new norm, whatever it looks like to you, can be daunting. After all, we've been told for over a year now how dangerous socialising can actually be. It's no surprise that people will not be only feeling wary about being able to pick up where they left off with their friends and family. So bear this in mind. It's really important to give yourself a chance to readjust to the new adjustments. Please do not be surprised if you don't feel as comfortable or eager to be in the same spaces like you used to be, or for not feeling like your old self straight away. It's perfectly fine. It's perfectly natural to feel a bit off and wanting to take things slowly when it comes to opening up your social circle again. I know that this is true for me. Being on my own for the past year, there is nothing more than me wanting to socialise again with my friends and family, just being able to hug somebody as well. But I know that I need to ease myself back in, and it's for my mental health and well-being, and that is the importance. So a tip, be alert and self-aware of not trying to mask your feelings of anxiety, and importantly, not to mask them with alcohol. Now, this past year has also taught us a lot about balance, that not everyone wants to go back to rushing around to the same degrees as before. People have formed new habits and changes. So reflect and consider how to get the best balance from work, rest, play, whatever this means to you. So the next one is stay away from comparing your lockdown achievements. Don't go into social situations thinking and feeling pressured that you need to be sharing your lockdown achievements and successes. You don't have to fit in this way. Be happy and proud of how you have adapted and come out of the other end surviving the pandemic. Now, I've spoken about the word should and the negative impact that this word can have on people's mental health and well-being quite a lot. Now, mental experts have stated that the expectations that we should be achieving actually makes people feel even worse about what the situation already is and makes that situation more intense, not helpful. You'll be really surprised to find out that actually the social circle will no doubt be full or far more full of people who didn't actually stick to their bucket list or their goals and achievements. So please, please, please don't fall into victim to social comparison, comparing your worst bits to other people's best bits, as this is exhausting and will lead to burnout and will affect your mental health and well-being. Tip: don't put too much pressure on yourself to live up to some lockdown ideals. Everyone will be just the same as you are or similar, nervous but excited about reconnecting, but not bragging about what a great, fantastic year they had. Next one is cut yourself some slack. Don't put pressure on yourself because initially conversations may be a bit down as we have all been in this lockdown and topic talk may be restricted, leaving us with no or little news to tell. Give yourself a break and just accept that small talk is what most of us are going to start with. And it doesn't need to be hilarious and fascinating and totally intellectual, okay? So here's a tip. Keep in mind that if you found socialising difficult pre-COVID, the thought of having to re-enter society again may be a little bit more trickier. Now, for those that suffer with social anxiety, the pandemic may have actually brought some temporary relief in avoidance of the situations. Another tip: it's important to ease yourself slowly back and to be aware of your own expectations that you are putting on yourself when you're undergoing conversations with people. Be more self-aware to what your thoughts, feelings are asking you. Remember that everyone is in the same sort of conversational boat this time around, or very, very similar. And a lot of our easy chatting triggers have been lost. The traveling, the dating, the weekend plans. So don't feel bad for sticking to basics that everyone can relate to. Such as, how was working from home been for you? Are you back in the office yet? Have you seen your family recently? Do you think you'll get a holiday this year or next year? What are your plans? Do you have any? Or, just those little conversations. But be honest and upfront about finding all these things. But don't, the thing is to remember, if you do think you need help with anxiety or social anxiety, then please speak to a GP and an expert professional. Okay, so another area that you could think about is quality versus quantity. Now, we often talk about how quality is better than quantity. And in this situation, quality is far, far, far more important. Social media has been even bigger part of our lives during this pandemic. And we know the impact that it can have on us positively and negatively. As we know, the social media can give us the impression that if you're not at a party or an event every week, having the most amazing time, you're missing out. The whole FOMO, the fear of missing out. Remember here, it's quality, not the quantity that's important. Spending time with the people who make you feel most at ease in places you feel safe and secure are far more valuable and beneficial to your mental and emotional well-being than being somewhere where you do not feel at ease, just to show others and that you're fitting into their expectations. So tip, prioritize what and who is important to you. For now, that just might be your closest friends. Schedule in 1 or 2 activities a week rather than back-to-back plans. Now, if you're nervous about too much too soon, suggest times and places that you feel comfortable with and be honest about the preferences for a bigger space and where you want to be. And hopefully those will be met and agreed by and understood by your friends and family. Now, again, healthy boundaries are important and are fundamental to our mental health and well-being. The ability to politely and respectfully say the word no is an absolute game changer. So try and say no more often. Be polite, firm, and be unapologetic about your preferences for meeting up, and only explain yourself if you want to. You do not have to justify your feelings and thoughts. Now, always remember that prioritizing yourself and avoiding social burnout is the most important thing. Listen to your body is another one. So acknowledge how you are feeling physically and think about what you might need or what might help you. If you're feeling particularly anxious and think you might be going to go into this fight or flight mode, so experiencing faster breathing, racing heart, feeling dizzy, shaky, nauseous, practice slow rhythmic breathing, in and out breaths, each for the count of 5, and ask yourself whether you need to rest or maybe leave a situation. So a tip, try normalizing how you are feeling. For instance, telling yourself, feeling anxious is totally understandable and I've been told to avoid crowds this year and I'm okay with it. Talk to someone that you trust. Talk through what's going on. Now remember, flight or fright is a response of protecting you from danger, but it doesn't always get it right. So sometimes your body just needs to be told, it's okay. I know this situation is safe, and if I refocus, I can reduce my fears. Now, worried about social burnout might be just another negative of the lockdown. We take a look at 6 small positive things that we can take from the lockdown in this year, which can help you feel positive. Now, I hope that I have given you some great valuable tips here and things for you to consider so that you can avoid social burnout and to help you ease back slowly into whatever the norm is for you. So please share, like, value, comment and subscribe to my videos if you found this useful. Now, being able to support you inspires me in creating these valuable contents. So thank you for taking the time to watch. I'm Zeenat Noorani, founder and owner of Vida de la Mariposa. You can find out more visiting zeenatnoorani.com, or even better, why not book a free consultation at calendly.com/Zeenat Noorani. Now I'm going to leave you with my mission, to empower you to live the life you desire by helping you find and forge your path through the darkest of times so that you can shine your light. Keep safe and well.